Hey, it's Rob. Welcome to Axel's Garage. Back out here with Cosmo doing a little more work because we got a nice day, finally. And on the shelf, I've had some LED headlights with Cosmo. Now, searching around, especially Amazon LED headlights, there's like a gazillion of them. And what I was looking for were a set of LED lights that would look cool, kind of had some nice features, and they were DOT compliant, which means they have a good cutoff so you're not blinding people coming when you're driving down the road. So you're going to spend a little bit more money on a set of DOT compliant. I probably would recommend against buying non-DOT headlights. Number one, they're not supposed to be on the road, so you have inspection issues when you go for your inspection. But the second thing is they blind other people, and they throw light everywhere. They don't really focus the light. So you got to pay a little bit more money for DOT compliant headlights. We found these on Amazon. It's a nice heavy aluminum backing set. It had decent reviews. It's got a DOT compliant lens. It is engraved in the lens that it's DOT compliant. And there's your light. It's got a daytime running light built in. It's got a low beam lamp. It's got a high beam lamp. And it should be pretty plug and play except for the daytime running light feature, which gets wired just with an ignition positive off of here, and then it'll run anytime the ignition's on as a daytime running light. The only other thing you could do is if you wanted to wire the daytime running light instead of just being ignition on, you could wire it where it had to be in gear for it to come on, like it would be on a factory car with daytime running lights. You can wire it to the marker light so that it'll only come on when the marker lights are on. You could do whatever you want, or you could just not use it at all. It's a little tab coming off the harness. It did have a one of those plastic sheaths that go over it, but I grabbed the plastic sheath to move it down to check to make sure this was crimped good, and the sheath disintegrated, fell apart, and fell off. And this was crimped fairly well, but what I did was I just put a little dot of solder in there just to hold it in place, just because I'm a little nutty, really. That's the only reason. It was probably crimped pretty good, but I did put some solder on it. And when we make our wire to go to it, it's going to be a soldered connection. I'm going to have the spade come in, and we're going to do our best to weatherproof it as much as we can. So getting the lights in, pretty straightforward should be. You got to take your bezel for your headlight bracket off. We'll get that off, and then we'll bring you along and show you what we got. Getting the bezel off, you got two Phillips head screws in the top, and then this will hinge down this way, and you pull it out because it's got two little clippy dickies in the bottom that need to go in. Don't just yank it out, because when you yank it out, no good. What's up, Steve? Huh? So after your bezel is off, you have this chrome retaining ring, and that's the only thing you need to take off. There's two screws on the top and two on the bottom. They should all be Phillips head screws. This one, of course, is missing a screw on top. And I got one. That's a Phillips head. These do tend to rust pretty good. All right, so there's my one. And then on the bottom, I got one Phillips head, and it looks like I might have one flathead. Now sometimes the bottoms you can get away with just loosening them enough to bend this down and get the headlight out. But of course I have that oddball. Let's see what we can do here. And I found the missing one. Alright, and your headlight unplugs just like that. So your new headlight should plug in the same exact way. They do give you an extension harness if you need an extension harness. In this application, we do not. I don't think this extension harness is to move the contacts around. It might be so that you can flip-flop your contacts if your vehicle is wired wrong. So the first thing you need to do is plug this in and just check function. So I'm going to sit this just like that. I'm going to plug this in, and I'm just going to flap it back like that, just so I can check function. I want to make sure it works and the high beams work. Quick, and there's the high beam light. Now, what do I need to do? I need to attach a wire here, and I do want to put some anti-corrosion or some contact grease here just to make it weather tight. So, let me back the camera up for you. All right, so I got some yellow wire with a spade terminal end and shrink tube, and what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to come from this light over to this light, and then to an ignition source positive in the fuse panel or the power distribution panel. So coming across here, I got plenty of places where I can connect it along this support. Matter of fact, there's some factory wiring going on here. So if I bring it up, I should be able to fish it right up behind. I like that. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to take just a little bit of silicone paste. Which is a great anti-corrosive. Alright, I'll plug that light in, and now I want to plug this into the light. Actually, I kind of did it backwards again. I like doing things 3 or 4 times. I'm going to lay this light right in here, and I want to make this connection here. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing with this. I am going to take just a little bit of silicone paste, put it on there. I'm going to take my spade terminal that I made on my yellow loop, and I'm going to pop it in. I'm going to tuck the harness behind. Bring this down just a little. We want to get our stainless ring over it. That goes right over the lens. And now we just need to put the 2 top screws in and tighten back up the 2 bottom screws. Now we take our trim ring, tuck it in the bottom, put our 2 top screws in, and do the other side. Alright, well, after getting both headlights installed, I just didn't put the trim on this one yet. I got that yellow wire from that headlight running right behind this support along a factory wire harness up to this one, and then out of this one, and I just got it looped over here, and it's hooked up to the battery for the daytime running lights. What I did find in this power distribution panel was 2 15-amp fuses that have no power. It's this one and this one. I'm not sure what. I do have a schematic somewhere, but they're 2 15-amp fuses that have no power whatsoever with the ignition on. They only get power with the car running. So only power with the car running. So I'm gonna have to check a diagram, see what fuses they are, but if they are the right ones, meaning that I could draw the you know, 1/2 amp probably that the daytime running lights will draw, that's a great one, because it's only going to be on when the car's running. So as soon as you turn the car off, daytime running lights go off, the car's got to be running for it, which would be pretty good. But I'm going to check those 2 fuses, and I'll be right back with you, and then we'll get the rest of this all buttoned up. Alright, so turns out those 2 15-amp fuses, one is for the PCM, One is for the coils and the coil capacitor and the shit like that. Sensitive computer equipment, probably not that sensitive, but with tapping off of one of them, not the greatest idea. It's just temporary for a couple days. We'll see how it goes. I might just yank it. But it's pretty cool with the daytime running lights on. We got the low beams, we got the high beams. We're gonna give you a shot of what they look like at night right now. Rob from the future coming up right at you right now. Alright, this is Rob from the future, and we've had the LED headlights in for a few weeks now, and I didn't really like the clips from before, so I figured I'd take you on some other clips. So it's a fairly dark area where we are right now. I have no lights on whatsoever. I have the daytime running lights disconnected so that all we're doing is dealing with the headlights. And I'm gonna go first click, first click is gonna be the front marker lights, which are the white LED bulbs through the smoke lenses. And that's gonna be the first click here. All right, and you'll see that actually lights up a little bit, almost like a headlight. Those lights are about equivalent to what the factory headlights were like. And then I'm gonna go to the low beams. And there's your low beam pattern, which has a real flat cutoff, not to blind oncoming traffic. So you can see the driver's side low beam pretty much goes straight out and down about 150 feet in front of the vehicle, while the passenger side, being adjusted correctly, goes a little bit more into like the ditch if you were driving on a single lane road and you had like a shoulder there. And that's the actual proper adjustment for headlights. But these are the LEDs. They have a nice flat cutoff, and I'll show you that up to a wall. But there's the high beams. And that's a tremendous, tremendous difference. You couldn't even see those buckets back there in the right corner. You could barely see them. And those are your high beams. And like I said, it's got to be about 3 weeks we've been driving around with these, and we haven't had one person in oncoming traffic, flick the brights at us because we were blinding them with the LEDs. And you can see when I pull up to this building here, how flat the cutoff is on the lights. You can see it's almost like a straight line, as opposed to just throwing the light everywhere like the cheap LEDs do. And that's why these lights have the DOT certification, because they have that flat cutoff, and that flat cutoff is what actually makes them DOT compliant. So here we are, just turned around on that road, and those are with the high beams, here's with the low beams. And we really don't have much darker of a road than this in this area. Now what I do want to show you, I'm going to stop here and we're going to get out of the car, and the one thing that I did want to show everyone was the daytime running lights. It seems that I had them connected, and then I disconnected them for the purpose of this test. And when I disconnected them, the ignition system on the car actually feeds, I guess, power to the daytime running lights through the headlight harness. The wire for the daytime running light isn't even connected, and they still light up. They're about half as bright as they would be when they're connected. And we'll show you that now. I'm going to turn the headlights off. I'm going to pop the hood, and we're going to go outside the car. So right now, the daytime running lights are not even hooked up. This is just some kind of stray voltage that's making it through the harness into the daytime running lights somehow, and they're actually lighting up. So if you don't want to hook up your daytime running lights, but you still want them to work a little bit, they're going to work, because this is just ignition on. Engine off, engine on, it doesn't matter, ignition on, there's your daytime running lights. Now the wire, power wire for the daytime running lights, I have right here. It's not even connected to anything, and they're on. But if Robbie goes back a little bit, and what I'll do is, I will take this wire, I'll put it to battery positive, and you can see the change, if any, in the daytime running lights. Turn that light over for me. So there's the daytime running lights when there is battery power applied, and there's the daytime running lights just with the residual voltage that's going on. So, I really like them. Nobody has been complaining about me blinding them. They seem to light the road up well. When you have them adjusted well, they look well. The daytime running lights is a neat feature. We're going to wire it back up again so that it has the full brightness. But I really like them, and for the money, I thought it was a decent deal. We'll probably put them on the other Jeep as well. But just wanted to show you this extra little clip in the video of what it really looks like at night driving with it, and now we'll return to Rob from the past and watch the rest of the video. Thanks. All right, so what they look like at night. Hopefully they look nice. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below, because I didn't make this video yet. We gotta wait for it to get dark before we can make the clip that you already saw. Anyway, let me know what you think. They are DOT, SAE, DOT certified lights, and that's why we picked these lights. I will link them in the description below. They weren't crazy expensive, but they weren't the cheap $30, $40 headlights that you see all over Amazon. What we will do is we're gonna put, once we mount the bumper and everything, we are putting some amber fog lights on the bottom of the bumper, and we're gonna put a little bar on the top of the bumper, and we're gonna have to bring some wiring back into the passenger compartment. And what we'll do is we'll pick up that wire, and we'll bring that wire to an ignition positive source instead of having it where it is now for those daytime running lights. And we'll do that when we do all the other wiring that we have to do. Anyway, that's it today from Axel's Garage on this LED headlight project. And as always, thanks for watching.